Hello, this is Matt on the Moon Lambeau channel, and I have a couple stories for you that are both Ripple and XRP related. And every XRP holder needs to hear what this man has to say. What does this man have to say? Well, it has to do with securities laws. Who is this man? U.S. Representative Tom Emmer. And here's the headline from crypto media outlet U Today. Every XRP holder wants to hear what this lawmaker has to say about securities laws. I also have a story, and this is a weird one, to be honest with you. There is over 1 million XRP that was stolen, and then it was transferred to a defunct cryptocurrency exchange. Yes, an exchange that is no longer in operation. That's where it went. Weird stuff. But plenty to cover in this video. Before we go any further, if you would please ever so delicately tap that like button, I would definitely appreciate the support. And also, go ahead and subscribe to the Moon Lambeau channel, because if you do, you will become increasingly intelligent and more physically attractive. It's true, and there's science behind it, probably. I've been getting all sorts of testimonials in the comments section and on Twitter. It's a real thing. You will become substantially more physically attractive if you subscribe to the Moon Lambeau channel. Now, who don't want a piece of that? All right, let's go ahead and hop in now, but I do want to set the table properly, because Tom Emmer has been in the news of late in the world of crypto, and especially within the XRP community, because he has flat out stated recently to Ripple CEO Brad Garlinghouse, no less, on a conference call, that it was one of the, video call, I can't remember what the event was, but he flat out stated no, XRP is not a security. And so here's this piece from August 21st, 2020, titled U.S. Congressman Tom Emmer says XRP is not a security, calls on regulators to support cryptocurrency. Now, Emmer, a Republican from Minnesota, held a crypto-focused town hall on Thursday to discuss the space with some of the biggest names in the industry, including Ripple CEO Brad Garlinghouse. Garlinghouse says the biggest challenge Ripple and the XRP community have faced is the lack of clarity regarding how crypto assets beyond Bitcoin and Ethereum will be classified by the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission. He noted it's been more than 2 years since Bitcoin and Ethereum were ruled not to be securities, and that the lack of clarity for the rest of the industry has restricted innovation. Now, I will say, my opinion on this in the short term, I don't know that there's any evidence that it's in any sort of meaningful way affected the price of XRP. I think it's more so that it's hampering Ripple in terms of onboarding customers that would otherwise be willing to utilize it as a bridge currency. Now, there's all sorts of entities out there that don't really care. They're sufficiently convinced it's not a big deal. Well, who are these entities? Well, cryptocurrency exchanges. Well, they're the most forward-thinking when it comes to this type of stuff. Probably not surprising. But you can also think about who their on-demand liquidity customers are, and they're pretty much just remittance companies, right? And so what types of entities are going to be less inclined to come on board with this? The more conservative the entity, the bigger a problem it's going to be, I would certainly suspect. So you can think about banks. Yeah. It's a bigger hurdle for them, I think. But Garlinghouse says the biggest challenge Ripple and XRP have... Oh, I'm sorry. I might have to jump down a little bit further here. I lost my spot. Emmer, a noted supporter of the crypto space, agrees. Here's a quote from Emmer. Over 2 years is not only a problem, it is absolutely unacceptable. Because what this does is entrepreneurs like you and everyone else on this town hall, you start looking elsewhere. Money will go where it's easiest to flow, and the more the government puts in obstacles, and one of them is just inaction, the less opportunity we have to position the United States as the leader. Exactly, and this is not what you saw with the advent of the internet. Now, like all sorts of people draw parallels between the adoption of the internet and the cryptocurrency asset class, just in general, and blockchain. And to me, it makes perfect sense to do so. Just incredibly world-changing technologies here, right? And even the timelines might be somewhat similar. I think to really get any sort of reasonable effect with blockchain is probably going to take decades. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if it takes even longer than it took for the internet, relatively speaking, to get to the point where it is today. Because if you look at the first decade, yeah, there's all sorts of stuff been built out, but functionally, the vast majority of cryptocurrencies aren't actually being used for anything, and so much of that time was spent with such incredible amounts of skepticism that I think it blocked people from recognizing the true potential that decentralized cryptocurrencies have to offer. But anyway, the representative says he plans to keep working on persuading other members of Congress who he says still think of Bitcoin in terms of the Silk Road, that crypto has value and utility. Who the hell in 2020 is still thinking about Silk Road? My gosh. And so that brings us to the new piece here. Again, from You Today, titled, Every XRP Holder Wants to Hear What This Lawmaker Has to Say About Securities Laws. During a virtual hearing of the Task Force on Financial Technology that was recently formed by members of the U.S. House Financial Services Committee, its ranking member Tom Emmer once again made a case for regulatory clarity in the cryptocurrency industry. So let's just say that he's a friend of Ripple at this point. Or Ripple should consider him to be a friend. He's on the right side here. But here's a quote. So long as actors play by the rules of the road, they deserve the assurances that regulators will not continue to cause uncertainty and will, in fact, support innovation in America. Exactly, you're going to squander one of the most amazing opportunities here because the Internet of Value, it's coming. And do you want the innovation to take place, United States regulators, in the United States or elsewhere? Think about that. Because I'm telling you, the genie's out of the bottle. But I have cited this recently too, though. I do increasingly see that regulators, especially on a federal level, they seem to get that cryptocurrencies are here to stay regardless, and so it just makes more sense to have reasonable regulations in place just to make sure that people aren't getting scammed, which sounds perfectly A-okay to me. But in his statement, Emmer mentioned the recently introduced Securities Clarity Act that would help to clarify existing securities laws in a technologically agnostic way. It would set resultant tokens apart from investment tokens. And here's another quote. The purpose of this act is to clarify and codify that an asset sold pursuant to an investment contract, whether tangible or intangible, including an asset in digital form, that is not otherwise a security under the Act, does not become a security as a result of being sold or otherwise transferred pursuant to an investment contract. Well, that sounds pretty gosh darn reasonable, and I've been saying forever, it doesn't make sense to try and shoehorn cryptocurrencies into existing regulation because previous to this asset class existing, there was no such thing as an asset that could fluctuate between becoming centralized and decentralized. And if something is decentralized, good luck convincing any sort of level-minded individual that it's a security of anything. Now, if it is centralized, though, it would be easier, I certainly believe, to make that case. But you have these assets that can teeter-totter back and forth. It's absolutely true. And existing law simply doesn't cover that. And so when you see the likes of Jay Clayton, who I think is certainly a rather sharp individual, and he says that, we don't want to, he said something like, we don't want to torture existing law on this topic. It was something to that effect. I'm kind of paraphrasing there, but I remember using the word, we don't want to torture, the language of the law or whatever. It was something to that effect. And I'm just sitting there thinking, but you do need to change it because, sorry, but your existing law doesn't take into account this concept, which previously doesn't exist, which is centralization versus decentralization in an asset that can teeter-totter back and forth from a technological perspective. Like, come on. But anyway, the piece continues. The lawmaker believes that this would allow the U.S. to remain competitive in the blockchain industry without sacrificing the investor safety. So look, ultimately, this is all going to get cleared up. It seems unquestionable to me that XRP is not a security, and if it were, given the degree to which XRP and Ripple are in the mainstream of crypto, at least, they're certainly on the radar of the federal government. If they were doing something horrendously wrong, do you not think that action would have been taken by now, considering that ICOs from 2017 have been sufficiently shut down and fined? Come on. That's why it's like the people that still think that something's going to come in terms of XRP being deemed a security of Ripple. You're living in La La Land. You're living a dream, you little Bitcoin maxi troll. Just waddle on back to your bridge and chill out, bro. It's everything's going to be okay. On to this piece now from AMB Crypto. Qcoin hack. Over 1 million XRP moved to a defunct exchange? Question mark. And I reported on this in a video very recently. Qcoin, cryptocurrency exchange, just unfortunately was a victim of the fourth largest hack in the history of cryptocurrency exchanges. Number 4 right here, not ideal, and a ton of XRP was stolen. But the story got even more interesting with this, so let's jump in. Cryptocurrency exchange Qcoin's hack has been the talking point of the week, with the culprits involved later making headlines after they tried to move the stolen crypto onto several decentralized exchanges. The hack and its perpetrators are in the news again today after Whale Alert revealed that part of the stolen funds, including a lot of XRP, was being moved in batches onto a host of crypto exchanges. The exchanges in question included Huobi, Binance, and BuyX. Now, BuyX, I had not heard of before. Have you? You can see here's the Whale Alert transactions on your screen right now from September 29th. Now, interestingly, within moments of Whale Alert's tweets, many users on crypto Twitter flagged the transfer and looped in the exchanges in question, asking them to freeze the stolen funds. While at the time of writing, Huobi was yet to take a step towards the same, CEO of Binance, CZ, tweeted that his team was already on it. Which is good. I appreciate that. Binance isn't the only entity taking such steps, however. Tether CTO Paulo Ardoino, maybe that's how you say that? I don't freaking know. Have an easier name to pronounce. Come on, do it for Moonlab, but just change your name legally so I don't have to deal with this. But anyway, he had previously confirmed that Tether had successfully frozen a total of 22 million USDT in stolen funds that had been transferred. Even Ampleforth announced that it had disabled the transfer of 14.82 million Ample tokens, which was worth about $10.8 million, by the Qcoin hackers. Now, oddly, some on Twitter have started speculating about why Huobi, which received several transfers of the stolen funds, had not frozen the funds yet. Such speculations were fueled after a report by Chainalysis found that Binance and Huobi were among the two exchanges to have received the most funds, around $1.4 billion in Bitcoin, from criminal entities in 2019. So what are you saying? They're in cahoots? But anyway, that's not all. Check this out. And this is my favorite part, since this is an XRP-centric channel, damn it. As mentioned previously, according to Whale Alert, over 1 million XRP in stolen funds was also transferred to little-known BuyX exchange, BYEX. This development seemed to take many on Twitter by surprise, since the exchange in question claims to have suspended its operations back in June, with its website deactivated at the time of writing too. What's more, an older Whale Alert tweet had previously reported that a significant portion of the funds from the Upbit exchange hack were deposited on BuyX. So something is clearly going on here. And I won't pretend to know what it is, but maybe it is the case that somebody's in cahoots with somebody else. Because even if the exchange is defunct, if the technology is still in place, even if you can't log in as a user, if somebody either hacked it, they could have gained control, or if somebody that was working at BuyX, with access to it, wanted to make that they could filter it through there for some sort of reason. Maybe it, for some reason unbeknownst to me, would make it easier to launder, perhaps. I don't know. Maybe that would be part of it as well. So again, that's just a little speculation potentially as to why, but I've never seen a story like this before. Cryptocurrency being stolen, in this case it's XRP, and then sent to a cryptocurrency exchange that's no longer in operation. What in the ever-loving hell? The world of crypto is weird. And also, as my grandpappy used to say, people are no damn good. Sage wisdom, grandpappy. You are definitely onto something. That's it for this video, though. I am not a financial advisor. Do not buy or sell anything because of anything that I say or write. That would be a very, very, very bad idea. Until next time, to the moon, Lambo!